I'm probably gonna end up getting in your way. Oh, sorry. He pushed me. Brown, brown. put the flash on all these?
I don't know. What do you mean the flash? Isn't the flash on there? Contact? Is that it? No.
shoelace.
Yeah, my shoelace.
He was pretending he was gonna fall in the middle. Watch this, they're gonna score now. Ready, watch. Harlem Globetrotters. That's the flashing shot. I got the ball up in the air and look at me signing autographs. No, he's still playing the game. Okay. Stop moving.
Tonight, Medical Marvels explores the controversial use of the drug Ritalin. Cynthia Good reports from Georgia on why parents believe the drug is being overprescribed as an easy way out of handling children with special needs. From Boston, we'll look at the new hope for AIDS patients, AZT. Now that the drug has been approved for distribution, it's changed many lives. But just how much hope is really justified? And from Milwaukee, Joanne Williams examines the use of the other artificial heart, the Jarvik 7. Quite controversial when it was created, the device has now found its niche as an interim lifesaver for patients awaiting human heart transplants.
How to write a small business success story. Listen to how AT&T comes through to help turn small businesses into bigger ones. And learn to write your own success story, free.
Who says a little shrimp can't be big business? AT&T showed us how telemarketing can pull in customers from coast to coast.
AT&T is helping small businesses use telecommunications to better manage field sales, ease cash flow, expand markets, and improve customer service.
Aye. AT&T explained how an 800 number in catalogs makes it easier for customers to reach me. Now, my bunny business is booming.
AT&T can show you how to use telecommunications to grow and prosper, too.
AT&T helped me turn my one-man shop into a 75-man operation. Now I'm wheeling and dealing cross-country.
Call 1-800-633-6600 for your free set of helpful booklets and learn how to use Watts, 800, and other AT&T services and products to cut costs, increase sales, and support your growing business. Call 1-800-633-6600 now for your free copy of Telecommunications Ideas to Grow On and discover how AT&T can help turn your small business into a big success.
Why not let AT&T help put you on the high road, too?
AT&T, the right choice.
Fuss with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with new Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I just wash and go.
New Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one.
Simply put, Ritalin is the name of a drug used to control the behavior of children. For many years, its use was limited. But now, parents across the country are worried that too many children are being given Ritalin for all the wrong reasons. Cynthia Good reports from Georgia on this growing controversy.
Buenas tardes. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Melvin Reynolds is a bright, attractive teenager, a good student, now earning mostly A's and B's. But for much of his 14 years, school was a nightmare. Diagnosed as having an attention deficit disorder, Melvin was placed on the powerful drug Ritalin.
If I had it to do over again, I would not believe a single word I was told.
Laverne Parker, Melvin's mother, now sees herself, her family, and particularly her son as victims. Victims of a drug and a system that refused to care.
It was a Sunday afternoon, and he got a knife, and he was wanting everyone to get off his back. He couldn't take any more. And he continued to scream and holler, get off his back.
Laverne will never forget that October day last year when Melvin attempted suicide.
I couldn't leave the room because I didn't want anything to happen to him. And I thought if I left the room and something happened to him, I wouldn't be near him to let him know I loved him and that I didn't want him to go away. And he wasn't a problem to anyone. He is not a problem. And no one is going to label him like that.
Laverne believes her son was labeled by school officials after being diagnosed as having attention deficit disorder, or ADD as it's commonly called. ADD refers to the inability of the child's brain to screen out irrelevant information. Children with an attention deficit disorder are easily distracted and have a hard time focusing in on what is relevant.
Most children can sit in a normal classroom and focus their attention on their work, on their paper, thoroughly ignoring the teacher working with another group of children or someone squirming at the side of the room or a piece of paper on the floor. A child with an attention deficit disorder is going to be as aware of the teacher's voice with another group or the child squirming or that piece of paper on the floor, as aware of that as they are of the paper that's on their desk.
Dr. Linda Nathanson-Lippett is a pediatrician specializing in these type of disorders. Like many of her peers, she is concerned with the apparently popular tendency in Georgia to diagnose children who can't behave in class as having attention deficit and then place them on the drug Ritalin to control their behavior.
I think a lot of people see Ritalin as a quick fix. And if a child is having problems making a diagnosis of attention deficit disorder and putting them on medication is a lot faster than really sitting down and trying to delve into exactly what may be going on with the child.
Ritalin, a form of speed, is the most prescribed drug used to treat attention deficit disorder. While a stimulant in adults, it has a sedative effect on ADD children. Experts don't know why the drug works that way. Ritalin is so popular in Georgia, some drugstores can't keep enough in stock. Officials are concerned the drug is being abused, used in schools as a form of crowd control. Georgia ranks in the top 10 states in the use of the drug, third in the nation in 1985, and fourth for the first half of 1986. State and federal officials have teamed up to probe whether Ritalin is being overprescribed.
Why is Georgia 4 times as much in terms of per capita consumption as the state of New York? Why are we twice any of our neighboring states? We can look at some of our neighbors and understand why. For example, Florida. You know, we can understand why they don't have high per capita consumption. They've got more of a geriatric population. But why are we double South Carolina or Tennessee or North Carolina or Alabama?
Andrew Watry is heading Georgia's probe into Ritalin. The numbers first alarmed him because of where the drug was apparently being prescribed.
We can track it by zip code, and we find it going into the zip codes where there's more affluent school systems.
What's especially intriguing to federal officials like Gene Hairlip of the DEA is while Ritalin consumption is up, the number of children diagnosed as having ADD is down.
We, of course, are concerned whenever the statistics don't fit, as they don't fit here.
He was on 45 milligrams a day of Ritalin, plus 50 milligrams of Milleril in the evening to bring him down off the Ritalin to help him sleep in the evening time. That's 95 milligrams of drugs a day.
Laverne Parker is angry that her son was ever put on Ritalin, furious at herself for listening to the so-called experts. She blames the public school system for failing to understand her child's special needs and believes they were too quick to label Melvin as a behavior problem.
Do you know what it's like to go in a classroom, to have a meeting with the teacher, to hear her tell you no one wants to be around your child, children are asking to be moved away from him? I have finally learned that after all these years, I don't know that I ever believed that story or not. I find that very cruel and inhuman to us and to our children.
Laverne watched Melvin's self-esteem erode. His grades drop from A's and B's to U's. Laverne's pleas for understanding went unanswered.
He's a good boy. That's what I don't understand. He's really a good child. And he's compassionate. I mean, he just wants somebody to just show him that they like him and not hate him.
I saw Melvin as an emergency evaluation.
Child psychologist Dr. Sunaina Jain. She helped Melvin get through that suicidal period in his life.
Melvin has a lot of fears that never came through to school. And I think there was some reluctance to understand him as a complete person. And in that sense, maybe the system did fail him.
For thousands of youngsters, Ritalin is an excellent drug. 8-year-old Colin Jacino has benefited from taking it for about 1.5 years now. It was at the end of the first grade that his teacher first told his mother Colin had a problem concentrating on his work.
I didn't consider it a significant problem, and so I just didn't really pay any attention. I figured maybe growing up a little more over the summer and so forth would help.
But the problem persisted the next year.
Examples that were given to me by his second grade teacher were things like, when we're on page 23, he's on page 32. He's constantly fiddling with his pencil, he's flipping the pages, he's looking out the window.
This time, Gretchen Jacino listened, and she's grateful that the teacher had the guts to speak out.
I really respect his second grade teacher for having the nerve to ask me, had he ever been on medication? A lot of teachers I find, I work in the school system, and I find a lot of teachers will not mention that to the parent. Many of the administrators have somewhat intimidated the teachers and said, no, you can't make that judgment. But I think the teacher can make the judgment that the child stands out from the other students in his inability to concentrate and to complete his work.
Colin has experienced almost no side effects from the drug.
We were concerned at one point, after he'd been on it for approximately 1 year, that he had not grown a lot. Since then, he's been on it now about 1.5 years. He has grown 2 inches and is doing fine.
Stunted growth is a concern for children on Ritalin. Other mild side effects include insomnia, loss of appetite, stomach aches, nervousness, and headaches.
It always gave me real bad headaches, and I always got dizzy all the time.
All Melvin remembers about being on Ritalin is the headaches. His mother remembers more.
My son, one night on the drug, he hallucinated. He was playing peacefully out in the driveway with his friend on the skateboard. I was sitting in the family room watching TV. And he came running in, slapping and beating and banging for us to get the people out of the way. Get them off of him. You know, he's dizzy, he's got a headache. Get these people away from me. And we kept telling him there was no one there. What was he talking about? And he said, they're there. I don't know who they are. Get them out of my way.
Laverne says she called the doctor and was told to take Melvin off the drug immediately.
So I, in turn, went to the doctor that following week with Melvin, his psychiatrist, and I asked bluntly, I said, could the drug have caused him to do what happened Friday night? Could have. Could have. Thought could have, huh?
Laverne vowed not to be ignorant any longer.
I started reading. I started studying.
16-year-old Sadie Harrison's parents know a lot about Ritalin. He's a general surgeon. She is a former RN. Still, Jody needed to be convinced by her husband to put her child on the drug.
Taking the medicine was not a problem. I mean, we have, particularly in working in that line of work, medicine is not a problem. I think the taking of the medicine was more a problem to Sadie. We felt that was what would help her, therefore that was what we wanted to do.
Well, at first I resented it. I didn't want a child that needed a crutch, and I didn't want something that would put her in a position to go into drugs later on. And we had this conversation. I said, this scares me. And he says, well, Joe, if she needed insulin, if she were diabetic, you wouldn't keep it from her. If she were, she had rheumatoid arthritis, you wouldn't keep her anti-inflammatories away from her. Why do you want to keep this away?
Sadie has done well being on Ritalin.
I could understand more, get more done in a day's work. Got along better with my parents, did better at home.
Most children no longer need the drug when they reach adolescence.
The evidence is that by puberty, the neurological system has matured. It has kind of come to its, whatever gaps there were and whatever unevenness there was in it has come together.
Sadie hasn't reached that stage yet. An honor student, her grades slipped last year after being taken off the drug.
I changed over to public school and was taking the medicine. And then I couldn't really tell a difference. I wasn't doing too well, and so they said, take me off instead of increasing the medicine.
Being put back on the drug wasn't enough.
In the middle of the year, she made